Hi, I'm Dave Cut, and you're watching another Comic Chat. What's up, guys? Back again today with the final chapter and DeadPool Back in Black. And so far in the story, we've seen the symbiote Venom bond with Deadpool as he helps his friend Machine Man out from being brainwashed. And then he went and helped out the Power Pack kids with an alien invasion. And then Black Cat comes along to help him out on an adventure against some alien bounty hunters. And then he was hunted down by Kraven. And now we're in the final chapter where the bounty hunters, after Venom, are now hunting Spider-Man to use him as bait. So this is chapter 5. And this story starts out with Black Suit Spider-Man getting hit with a beam from the bounty hunter's ship. And despite his amazing spider awareness and spidey sense, he is unprepared for the vicious attack. Rays of concussive force sizzle through the sky, slamming into the wall crawler, as the spider sense warned him a little too late. Because if his alien attackers wanted him dead, then he would not survive the assault. But even though they used non-lethal force, death may be a foregone conclusion. As Spider-Man falls and head spinning and he can't think straight. All he does is just react, and Killer Thrill is wanting to see him splat on the ground as the last henchman knows that they need him alive if they're going to use him as bait to get to Venom. And Spider-Man's actually able to save himself by swinging from a building. And that kind of upset Killer Thrill as she really wanted to see that splat. But this just means that they're going to torment and torture Spider-Man instead. And as Spider-Man crash lands on top of a roof, Killer Thrill comes up as Spider-Man questions who she is. She just tells him, "Don't worry about who I am. You should worry about what I'm about to do to you. And here's a hint. It's gonna hurt a lot." Spider-Man's all banged up, and it's funny. He has no idea who she is either, or what they want. And we dare not show you the gruesome anguish Killer Thrill is, at this very moment, inflicting on Spider-Man. But suffice it to say, it is agonizing enough to be felt all the way across town, as Deadpool and Venom are perched up on a lamp, and Deadpool's starting to sense some sort of distress. You know, the same feeling you get from watching someone give themselves a nasty paper cut. And then a strange empathetic call urges Deadpool to action. Or is it the symbiote that springs from the lamp and leaps toward the pool of pain and suffering? As Deadpool just thinks he's on autopilot and just started web slinging out of nowhere. Deadpool thinks, "I'll just hitch a ride on this news helicopter as I head off to rescue," and Venom cuts him off to destroy Spider-Man. And Deadpool's kind of confused. He's like, "I know it's Spider-Man who's in trouble. He can sense it. And he's drawn to help." And then Venom cuts him off again. "Watch him suffer." Deadpool's even more confused. He's like, "What's going on with me?" One second, he feels like he's on a mission to save Spidey. The next, he wants him dead. He just hopes he has this thing figured out. And then we go to Spider-Man passed out in his own blood, with Killer Thrill standing over him, saying they're just getting started. And aren't spiders supposed to have 8 legs? And she's going to have to find other appendages to substitute in his case. And she tells him, after they capture Venom, she's keeping Spider-Man for herself, as they're interrupted by the henchmen saying that the Clintar is close. Because Killer Thrill knew that ringing the dinner bell would bring the wannabe hero running toward them. As we see big Venom Pool crash through the window saying, "No hero here, lady. You want to chum the waters? You're going to bring the sharks." I feel like that's more of a Venom Pool, you know? When Venom's more than Deadpool. Deadpool and I don't know. You tell me. As Venom charges at Killer Thrill, ready to eat her brains, she says, "Ooh, kinky. A little mutual cerebral cannibalism might be fun." She really is weird. I don't know. I kind of like her. But they were ready for him, and the other henchman comes out with the noise cannon. I think it's a psionic cannon. But they were ready for him. Or as Deadpool would say, some sort of nails on a chalkboard cannon. Then Killer Thrill comes in with a kick, but one of Venom's arms comes out and slams Killer Thrill to the ground, but the henchman comes up and blasts him again with another hit of the sound cannon. And Venom spits out Deadpool, giving him a chance to save it from those psionics, giving him a chance to think straight. But that's when Deadpool realizes just how cloudy his head was, that he had one voice too many in his head, as he takes out the guy with the sound cannon. And Venom bonds with Deadpool again, making Venom Pool. And that little throwdown that Venom had on Killer Thrill gave her just enough boost to fire up her telekinesis as she throws a metal beam at Venom Pool as he just swats it away. It's nothing to him. She says, try a little Psy Blast instead, as Venom Pool tells her, you have to remember, you can't just attack one part of us. You have to attack both, because they are a team. And Venom Pool's tongue comes out and cuts one of Killer Thrill's arm off. And then he takes it and eats it. And that was it. They're done there. The henchman comes, collects Killer Thrill, and they're like, we got to get out of here. But Venom's like, where are you going? We're not finished yet. Because he's ready to eat all the arms and all the brains. But when he swings on top of the ship, he gets blasted down by a cannon. He took a pretty big hit, too, as he crashes to the ground, saying, yeah, you better run. And Venom noticed that Spider-Man's still laying there, passed out. And as Venom is saying it's time for a little payback, Deadpool's thinking, what's happening to him? He doesn't want to know how Spider-Man's brains taste. And why can't he stop himself? As Venom tries telling him, Spider-Man must pay for what he did to him. Spider-Man must die. But Deadpool's like, that's not right. He doesn't want to kill Spider-Man. And they keep going back and forth, as Venom really wants to kill Spider-Man, but Deadpool's not gonna let him. He said Spidey's one of the good guys. They're not gonna eat him. As Deadpool unbonds from Venom, and without a host, the symbiote can't really form words anymore, but it didn't need to speak for its intentions to be clear. It would kill the one who had heard it so, unless someone could stop it. As Deadpool puts himself in between Venom and Spider-Man, saying, you'll have to go through me if you want to kill him. And Deadpool pleads with Venom, saying, I know you hate him. I know hell hath no fury like an alien ooze scorned. But if you do this, if you kill him, I don't see how you and me can be pals anymore. Because friends don't devour friends, even when they're mad at each other. That's something you just need to learn about here on Earth. And that was seemingly enough to get Venom to spare Spider-Man as the two part ways. A heavy burden on two earthbound hearts. And yet, our story is not yet finished, although Wade Wilson's role in these comic events is done, for now. A clandestine meeting takes place in the depths of space, and deep in space, there's Killer Thrill at the rendezvous with the buyer for the Clintar, who's not too pleased with her failure as she did not hold up her side of the bargain. And the buyer was none other than the Collector. This immortal being has long scoured the universe, gathering life forms and housing them in cosmic collage. For what purpose? What mortal mind can fathom the reasonings of an elder of the universe? And the Collector is not pleased at all, but at least they have yielded some kind of results, as Wade Wilson is no longer bonded with Venom. And to make up for her failure, Killer Thrill offers the Collector her henchman. And she says he's not the last of his species, but his homeworld is on her way, so she can fix that real quick. She really is evil. And meanwhile, back on Earth, our story comes full circle. The alien entity returning to the house of worship it called home for so long. Here, in these hollowed halls, it knew heartbreak. Perhaps it is the return of that feeling that draws it back to this familiar place. And little does the creature knows, and little does the creature realize that it is being watched over at this very second by a soul which also knows loneliness, as Deadpool waits outside the church, thinking about how much of a good team they actually did make, except for, the bloodlust towards Spider-Man. And just as Deadpool's thinking that he never really thought of himself as a webhead before, and how he doesn't want anything to happen to his little symbiote friend, even though that they have their differences, he still doesn't want him to be alone. As we see, as somebody pulls up to the church and gets out the car. And as he's getting out the car, he's talking to himself, saying, what are you doing, Eddie? You know you can't do this. You ain't got the guts. Just turn around and go home. And then he's interrupted by Deadpool, telling him he looked a little lost and that he maybe needed a friend. Not Deadpool. Deadpool always rubs people the wrong way. But he might find what he's looking for inside. And Eddie tells him, yeah, you're right. Sooner or later, I gotta follow through on something. I gotta get something right, as he walks into the church. And so, in the Marvel tradition, as one chapter ends, another begins. For Deadpool, this is the end of the story. Or is it? Could the future hold more symbiotic adventures for the merc with the mouth? Only time will tell. Yeah, that's funny. I love the ending because he actually gets to talk to Eddie Brock before Eddie goes. I mean, if you guys don't know the story of Venom and who Eddie Brock is and what is what he's doing at the church, it's pretty funny. But that was the end of Deadpool Back in Black. It's been a crazy story. I honestly loved it. It's one of my favorites. As we can see, all of the cover art and stuff. I do. This is why I love comic books, guys. You know, you get to see all the cool artwork done by different people and variant covers. It's just really cool. Like, come on, look at that. Venom Pool Hungry with the chimichanga. Yeah, they got some cool stuff in the books. Deadpool and the Mercs for money. Oh, that's a whole collection edition. That's cool. So you got Deadpool Spider-Man and Deadpool Spider-Man. Pretty good artwork too. I'm liking this one. That's a good one. The artwork in this one's a little interesting. Don't call it a team up though. Thrill to Wade Wilson's 1980s adventures in Symbiote City. This has been Deadpool Back in Black. Let me know what you guys think. Until next time, thanks for hanging out. Until next time, guys, have a good one.